Ever since he was young, the world did not accept him. He just hoped that someday he would be able to help someone in his life and be of use to someone. He walked by the narrow, dark lanes with his fat and ugly body when he saw some men trying to bully a young lady. He confronted the bullies in order to help the young one, but he was beaten down to pulp right in front of the girl by the bad men. By the time the police arrived, he had been thrashed down to the ground, and the bullies had already run away. The girl immediately approached her savior, but he just left the place without saying a single word. He remembered his grandfather, who used to say that those in trouble must be treated with kindness, and sometimes this requires courage. He has been bullied all his life, and he knew that somehow his repulsive behavior annoyed people, resulting in his being bullied in school. His parents also never treated him properly like his siblings. In middle school, too, his peers' harshness towards him just kept escalating as he went through all this every single day of his life. It was only his grandfather who actually used to love him and show affectionate behavior towards him. He would often tell him that no matter what adversity is faced by him, he must not get beat up and eventually love will find him. His grandfather named him Yuya, and before reaching his deathbed, he left all his possessions and house as a bequest to Yuya. His parents did come to take it all from him, but his grandfather's thorough groundwork left them with no option but to give it all up. Yuya's parents renounced their involvement in his upbringing, leaving Yuya with no choice but to do various part-time jobs in order to survive. Even on the last day of high school, everyone in his class wrote the worst stuff possible in his booklet. He had no choice but to accept it. As he was running out of the school to do his part-time newspaper delivery job, he was caught by the bullies and eventually bullied. Yuya apologized as much as he could, but not for his job either. After such an annoying and depressing day, the moment he saw himself in the mirror, he couldn't bottle up anymore as he started crying. And suddenly he discovered a hidden door in the bathroom. He unknowingly punched his way inside, and he recalled that his grandfather used to travel the whole world and always bring weird souvenirs too. He wondered if this hidden room is the place where grandfather kept his souvenirs. Suddenly, his eyes fell on a blue doodad with an owl carved on it within the hidden room. He opened the door and saw a completely new room with a window and study table. As soon as he entered the room, a tab appeared right in front of him. He couldn't believe that he had suddenly crossed over to a different world as he gained a lot of titles, one of which was Master of the Door, which let Yuya start exploring the options as he saw asset conversion, admission restrictions, and transfer. All of it seemed like a video game, and Yuya was disappointed to see that all the attributes of his skill were at one. Yuya looked out at the beautiful view through the window. He found a letter lying on the table. The language of the table was something different, and he couldn't understand it, but his language comprehensive skill got active, which allowed him to read the letter. The letter said that the owner of the room was nearing his death, so he let this room and his belongings go to whomever might find this letter, referring to the fact that the ownership of the room now belongs to Yuya, which will be transferred to his name by magic. The room belonged to a sage, and he also mentioned that no one could enter the room until and unless he invited the person in. There were many different weapons in the room. Yuya picked one of them but was shocked to see the amazing stats and name Omni Sword. He went outside to the lawn, wondering if it is a part of his land. He checked the status, which said that everything under the fence is a part of his land. After that, there was no going back, as he tried all the dangerous swords and weapons he could find. After using all the weapons, he acquired the True Martial Arts 1 skill, which lets the user get knowledge of all the weapons in hand-to-hand combat. Yuya was just putting all the weapons back in virtual space when a berserk, bloody ogre attacked his shackle, even though it was not able to enter the fence. Yuya got completely terrified. He calmed himself down and threw the spear at the ogre with all his might, knocking him down in one blow. The ogre's corpse fell to the ground as he gained a lot of experience and attributes. The items left over from the ogre were all high-level items like fangs and magic stones. After collecting all the items, Yuya was really tired and was about to go back to his home when a notification popped up. All the leftovers from the corpse were converted into real money, and he gained around 1.5 million yen in all. He decided to take the money as he went to sleep. In the night, something started happening to his body as he went through a lot of pain the whole night. All the fat was gone, and Yuya woke up with a strong, agile body with the awesome physique of an athlete. All his clothes didn't fit him now, but he was glad that he could find fitting clothes in the wardrobe of the secret room. The place had all that he wanted, so he started wandering out into the new world. Yuya was watering some unknown plants in his room when suddenly he found a special herb that could cure all kinds of diseases. Similar plants with amazing attributes were spread all over his garden. Yuya started fitting in with his surroundings. He easily defeated the hell slime with his spear and gained many artifacts. He also got a rare drop necklace, which let him use the detect presence skill. Yuya received another 500,000 yen, with which he bought a school uniform for himself. All of this turned into a daily routine for him as he could earn money and eat good, delicious food as much as he wanted. All his previous years at the school were getting overshadowed by the increase in his overall attributes. While walking through his lawn, he came across another elite goblin. But things have changed now. He was not scared at all and easily defeated it. Tomorrow the school was about to start again, and he was looking forward to the same bullies confronting him tomorrow. Things were different this time. People were staring at him and praising his attractiveness. Yuya sat on his chair, waiting for the class to start, but when the bullies actually confronted him, they were not able to recognize him at all. Everyone was left speechless when they got to know that he was the same Yuya from before. During the lunch break, when Yuya went to the washroom and saw his face for the first time in days, he couldn't believe it himself. The bullies again caught him after the lunch, as they inquired as to what he had done in order to become like this. Yuya was trying to make them understand all he could, but no one was ready to believe him when suddenly a beautiful luxury car stopped by the place. The same girl he saved back from the bullies who was hurt came out of the car. The tab told Yuya that she was the second in the Alsa Academy. Why is she here? Is she just here to thank Yuya? The girl asked again who Yuya Tenju was, and Yuya told her that it was him. Both of them were silent for minutes, and she couldn't believe that he was the same Yuya that saved her from the bullies on the road that day. She recalled telling him about her and the time he saved her from the bully men at the convenience store. He inquired about the girl after remembering everything about how she got to know about his name, as he didn't utter a single word before leaving. The girl smiled and told him that she craved to thank him from her heart for saving her, and in order to find Yuya, she investigated him a bit. The girl asked Yuya if he wanted to join the Alsa Academy with her. Yuya got totally confused as he heard Alsa Academy's name. She introduced herself, telling them that her name is Kaori Haoju and she is the acting president of the student council of the academy. The butler also told them that Kaori is the daughter of the head of the board meeting. The moment Yuya's siblings heard this, they couldn't believe it at all. They instantly jumped and asked Kaori to let them join the school instead. Kaori got really angry as she heard this. She rudely denied it to them and also told them that she knew about all the bad things they had been doing with Yuya. Kaori told her that Alsa Academy looks at the personality strengths of the person, so it won't be an issue. Even after Yuya said that he believes he is not capable enough to join the Academy of Geniuses, Kaori kept on insisting and later asked him to come meet her father in the academy, as he would also like to thank him, and she would also show Yuya around the academy. Both of his siblings got really angry after facing such humility, but there was nothing in their hands. Alsa Academy is famous enough that every single person has heard about it. Many of the students enrolled there excel in one field or another. It is said that if a person is able to enter this academy, then his future is safe. He could never imagine that he would be able to make any connection with such a prestigious school. The chairman greeted Yuya and introduced himself. Chairman Tsukasa Haoju thanked Yuya for saving his daughter as he bowed down in front of him in respect. Yuya asked him not to bow in front of him, and what he did was not much and was not impressive either. Kaori told him that when everyone else was just looking the other way, it was Yui's who approached the bullies and asked them to stay away from her. The chairman continued to praise him by saying that this is proof of a splendid character, which is valued the most in the academy. The chairman invited Yuya to join his school, and it will also act as a thank you for his deeds, so no tuition fees are required. Yuya still had only one confusion in his mind. He couldn't make up his mind that he deserved to be in a school of geniuses. Chairman Sir convinced him by redefining the meaning of genius for him, and he further asked him to join the school today as a trial enrollment. Coincidentally, Mrs. Sawada entered the room at the same time. She is a famous teacher at Alsa Academy, and is known for her interesting yet simple lectures. The chairman asked her to give Yuya an experience of her class, and the next moment Yuya was standing in front of the class door, about to enter. Yuya entered the class and introduced himself as a trial enrollment. The whole class stood silent for a moment without showing any reaction. Everyone in the class couldn't stop praising Yuya's attractiveness in their minds. Mrs. Sawada finally broke the silence and asked Yuya to sit near the window beside Hayadu. She further asked him to share his book with her as both of them took their seats. After the class, Yuya noticed that the class was not much different than the previous ones he had been in, but the children were way more reactive and provocative than his previous ones. Once the class ended, all the children in the class came to his seat and started asking him numerous questions. To cut the clutter, one of the boys asked everyone not to hoard on him, and he has not eaten his food either. The boy introduced himself as Ryu Igarashi and asked Yuya if he would like to join them for lunch. Yuya was somewhat shocked to see such a variety of food at a really small price of 500 yen. And over that, the daily special is free. Both of them took their food and sat next to another classmate who called them from afar. His name was Shingo Kurata, and Shingo and Ryu started talking to each other. Yuya realized that everyone in the cafeteria has been staring at him. He wondered if it was his clothes, as his uniform is different than others, but Ryu corrected him that it was his face, not his clothes. He further asked him if he was in some kind of club, but Yuya didn't have any. Ryu got into the going home club, and Shingo was in the gaming club. Yuya couldn't believe that there is a gaming club and that students are allowed to bring the required instruments for the same. After the whole day, Yuya went back to the chairman's room and told him that he loved the school and had a lot of fun. Yuya finally agreed to the chairman's invitation to enroll in the school and asked for his continued guidance. As Yuya was leaving the school, Kaori met him again and got really happy to know that he was going to join the academy with her. In the heat of the moment, she asked Yuya if he was free after this as they moved to a cheerful place. Yuya asked Kaori if she comes here often with her friends. She explained to him that because of her work and her father's position in the school, people tend to stay reserved with her in the school. She further confessed that she wanted to see this place with Yuya. Both of them came near a delicious dessert shop and sat together and had the dessert. While talking, Yuya asked her how she was able to tell that it was him as his appearance had changed a lot since then. Kaori told him that even though he has lost his fat, his eyes are exactly the same, and she was able to recognize them instantly. Mrs. Kaori got a bit annoyed as Yuya kept on referring to her as Mrs. Haoju. She clarified that now that they are enough friendly with each other, he should call her by her first name, and even though he was a bit hesitant, he agreed to it. Both of them then shared their desserts with each other. It was a bit awkward, but things went well. After this, he went back to the other world and got all geared up to fight with his new heavy armor. He checked his status, which had not reached 235th level. Yuya suddenly heard a voice from the jungles. At first, he was a bit scared to go outside, but he summoned all his wits and walked out to find dead bodies all over. He moved a bit forward and saw a goblin captain at level 200 who was just about to harm another girl. To save the girl, Yuya aimed his spear at him, but the goblin dodged it and counterattacked Yuya from behind. He realized that he couldn't rival the goblin's power and speed, but he could use another of his skills. Yuya used a combination of various weapons he had and finally killed the goblin. He instantly reached the tree under which the girl was lying, but she lost consciousness. Before he could do anything else, he heard people coming towards them. He used his invisibility item to hide while the guards checked on the girl. Her name was Lexia, and the guards were relieved as they confirmed that she was still alive and were planning to evacuate the place as soon as possible. Life has been changing for Yuya at a very fast pace. He wondered if Lexia was all well while ironing the shirt for the academy. He realized that he only has one shirt and has to wash it every day, but now that he has money with him, he can buy some new clothes too. The moment he entered the shopping mall to buy some clothes, everyone started glaring at him. They wondered if Yuya was an actor or some kind of idol, looking at his awesome appearance. He got really awkward because of those smiles and had no choice but to run fast away from everyone's view. On the other side, the fashion department of the mall is bustling. The director was getting annoyed as the main protagonist of their show was late and hadn't come yet. He asked the servant to call the actor, and the assistant servant informed him that he was out but that it would take him an hour to do the work. The director said that he hates such people who are not serious with their work and are careless too. In anger, the director decided to procure a man from the shopping mall for the show. Yuya was really confused between two shirts and was trying to choose between both of them when suddenly two girls approached him and started asking him different questions. At first, he was a bit confused and thought that maybe it was a super special, high-pressure sale. Later, he understood that they were just attracted to his looks, and he recalled that in such a situation, it needs to be handled politely. He politely refused the two girls and said that he had some plans to handle too. Yuya left them and went the other way to look for some clothes when he grabbed the director's attention with the escalator. He requested Yuya, and someone somehow convinced him to do the photo shoot with Miss Miu. As both of them spent time with each other, Yuya started falling for Miu. He couldn't help but praise her for being efficient and awesome. Yuya got really awkward as she held him in her arms or pressed herself towards her. In the other world, Princess Lexia gained consciousness, and all she did was mention the person who saved her from the monster there. The head guard kept on trying to convince her that no human can live in those dark forests, and there is no way she was saved by a human. Lexia was not ready to hear a single word from anyone and believed that she should go find the person and thank him for saving a royal member of the kingdom. Back in the shopping mall, Yuya and Mew have finished their photo shoot. Mew brought him a cup of coffee and asked if he was tired. Unknowingly, Yuya was so shy and awkward in front of her that he choked a bit on coffee. Looking at Yuya acting like this, Mew couldn't stop laughing. She gave him her handkerchief to calm him down and not be nervous. The whole shopping mall was watching both of them from afar. Yuya wondered that he could never believe that working as a model could be this hard and praised Miss Mew for her awesome work. Whereas he made so many mistakes and errors, he realized that just a few days ago he was not even a bit related to this world of glitter and beauty. Even if he saw some models in magazines or on the internet, he never thought that he would be able to wear such nice clothes either. Now he has realized that to show the world such a dazzling life, Mew-san and others have to work so hard too. He asked Miss Mew why she started working as a model, to which she replied that she wanted to be seen by people. She further explained that both of her parents went out to work and were really busy, because of which she couldn't spend much time with them. She probably started so that her parents could see her. Now she has fans, and people cheer for her, which just pushes her to work harder. She advised Yuya to take every moment of his life and enjoy it to the fullest. This will let him live well in the future. While both of them were chatting, a man came on the scene and said that he was a bit late. Everyone in the audience got a bit shocked to see him, including Miss Mew and the director. It was Shu. He is the same actor who was supposed to be at the photo shoot with Mew, but got late. Shu was still very arrogant. He just casually approached Mew and ignored everyone else as he pushed her against the wall. He started asking her if she was able to drink. Mew-san told him that she was not old enough to drink, but he didn't listen to her. Looking at Mew getting uncomfortable, Yuya tried to interrupt him. Shu stepped on Mew's handkerchief and was about to hit Yuya with a full-blown punch, but he easily defended himself and threw Shu on the ground. Everyone in the shopping mall was shocked to see this happen, and Mew thanked him for saving her. Women in the shopping mall started cheering for him as the director chased Shu away from the place in front of everyone and threatened him by recording the whole scene. Mew thanked the director too, as he had been following her for a long time now. As everything started settling down again, the director asked Yuya if he would like to do more of this work, as it really suits him. Yuya still politely refused the request, as he somehow knew that even though it would be really nice if he could work with professionals like them, he is not even half as good as them and would require more time. The director respected his feelings and didn't try to convince him more. The director gifted him a lot of outfits as a reward for all his work. He mentioned that as he is an amateur right now, it wouldn't be good to pay him money from the agency's side, so he must accept this gift instead, which he has hand-chosen. Mew and Yuya greeted each other as they bid farewell to each other. While Mew and the director traveled back to their station, the director mentioned that the industry has lost a valuable asset today, and that he really wanted Yuya to join the industry. Mew agreed with the director and even mentioned that she would have loved to work again with him in the near future if possible. After reaching home, Yuya saw all the gifts and was really glad to see them, after which he returned to the other world. On that side, Princess and his soldiers were trying to defend themselves against the goblins and monsters, but were lacking soldiers. One of the goblins was about to attack Princess Lexia, but Yuya came on time and defeated him, after which he defeated a lot of monsters right in front of the soldiers as they stood at a place watching them. Yuya was sharing his healing potion with them when suddenly Princess Lexia approached him and asked him to marry her. No one, including the head soldier and Yuya, was expecting such a thing to happen.